for speaking with me, first of all, and congratulations on such a huge 2020. Like, I can't wait to talk about everything going on, but Big Sky especially.
Oh,
The first episode right off the bat was like so insane, and I can't wait to watch more of it. But
oh.
David E. Kelley is such a TV legend, and what led you to sign on to the show? And can you just tell me a little bit about your process being on Big Sky?
Absolutely. I mean, David E. Kelley sort of speaks for himself. He's got such a brilliant mind, and I really find that with every project he's done, from Ally McBeal to Big Little Lies, I am just completely enamored with the characters and the story, and I'm constantly pulled into that world, right? So when Big Sky came along, I was immediately, captivated by this really weird, strange, quirky world that has very dark little underbellies to it. And I loved the character of Grace. I loved that he wrote a fighter and not a victim. And to see that evolve as the series evolves is really exciting. And so, yeah, it was not even a question. I wanted to be a part of his world and a part of his story. And yeah, in the process of finding Grace and finding the tone of Big Sky and everything was really just having great conversations with producers and execs, but also reading the book and just trying to bring Grace to life in any way that I can.
I don't want to talk too much about the first episode because there's like such a huge twist and spoiler, but I'm excited to see more of Grace and to see kind of that warrior spirit and how she fits into this like much larger thing that's going on in the town, which is kind of crazy. But you also started another show based on a book this year, which was like everyone's favorite quarantine binge. What was kind of like all of the hype surrounding that show? What was that like for you, kind of having such a huge hit this year, and relating to Lexi and dealing with these really intense, complicated kind of intersectionality that a lot of women and people face?
I was really happy to see Little Fires Everywhere resonate with so many different kinds of people from very different walks of life. This show, it meant so much to me and everyone else making it. It was such an important story that needed to be told. And the book was incredible. And I was a huge fan of the book, and to bring that to life in itself was a really big deal to me. But specifically with playing Lexi, such a complicated character who was so flawed and didn't even know it, was really interesting. And to see people resonate with that and to sort of ask bigger questions to themselves, of really like being willing to see themselves in a clearer light and ask yourselves the difficult questions and sort of confront the things no one wants to confront about themselves, was really, really beautiful to me. And I loved making the show more than anything, and to see people connect with it in any way was really, really a beautiful thing to see and to witness. Little Fires Ever was definitely one of my favorite projects I've ever worked on, and to see people care about it the way that we did when we were making it was really, really incredible.
And I like what you said too about Lexi kind of being this audience insert. Like, she really is kind of the crux of the series in this modern setting, like to really question how you can relate, how privilege plays into a big part into everything, and being just more conscious of everyone's actions. And I thought your chemistry with Reese Witherspoon too, like not even just like the physical similarities, I know everyone talks about that, but it was just such a great dynamic to see on screen. You've obviously worked with some incredible filmmakers and incredible female actresses and filmmakers as well. What have you kind of learned just across the board from working with such incredible figures in TV and film?
I've learned so much, and I'm continuing to learn, and you're right. I'm very, very grateful and very lucky to have worked with so many powerful women across the boards, in many different ways. This, for Little Fires Everywhere, Reese and Carrie and Liz Tigler, our showrunner, they were just so profoundly powerful. And I learned a lot about, unapologetically taking up space and carving out that space for others to come along with you. And that was really incredible. For this show, we have incredible female directors joining for future episodes for Big Sky. And I learn a lot. And I feel like just the common denominator between all of the incredible women I've worked with is that they are unapologetically taking up space, and they tell their stories and they use their voice and they lift others up. Like I always feel incredibly safe when I walk on a set with a lot of women. And I think that's just because everyone that I've worked with has been really adamant about everyone using their voice and really emphasizing the collaborative effort of telling stories. And everyone has a bit to say and creative input, and they allow everyone to express themselves to the fullest extent. And I learned a lot from them in that capacity.
Then on the flip side, the stories seem to come out more authentic and truer too when you have so many other people's inputs from behind the scenes.
Exactly.
So you really kind of see that shine through, and it's really just great as an audience member to watch. I know you also starred in Seberg this year too, which had another amazing cast about another feminist icon. How is it to kind of balance film versus TV productions and dealing with episodes versus just one long movie?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely different beasts. I mean, with TV, you have more time to explore one character through a longer period of time, usually. And so there's just more time for them to sort of breathe and to the character develop and evolve. In film, it's really interesting because you have the script, you're not waiting in mystery because you don't have scripts for further episodes. Like you have that and you get to develop that before filming. And what was interesting about Seberg was we shot that on film. Wow. So the process, even for that, compared to other movies or films, was time. It took a lot more time to take to make different scenes and to tell different parts of that story. But I loved that story. It's a profound story. And just to be a part of it in any kind of way was really, I was very grateful. And Jack O'Connell and Margaret Qualley and Vince Vaughn were some of the people that I was able to work with, and they're incredible artists and storytellers. And to see them take on these roles it was so surreal. It was a beautiful project.
So I'd love to talk a little bit about your personal life, if that's okay. What have you kind of been watching during quarantine? How have the last few months been for you? But what are some of your favorite film or shows from this year too?
There's been so many shows. I feel like all I've been doing is watching shows and films. This came out in the beginning of the year, I think. But Zoe Kravitz in High Fidelity was the first one where I was like, okay, y'all, this is incredible. I mean, I'm a huge music fan and I love collecting records and stuff already. So I felt very connected to Zoe in that. I thought that was an incredible show. Queen's Gambit on Netflix is beautiful. It was just really, really beautiful. And I've also been sort of spilling through the archives of older film that I haven't seen in a while or I haven't seen. So things like really old films like Casablanca. I've been on an old film kick, which has been really cool. Sunset Boulevard. There's so many amazing projects out there and so many great stories. And so I like knowing what's new and think binging the latest show, but also going back and seeing these really incredible films that I forgot about or haven't seen. And there's such good stuff, and it's so soothing to watch shows and films in such a crazy time. I feel like artists have a very soothing effect on a culture. So I've definitely been watching a lot and listening to a lot. It definitely calms me.
Who are some of your favorite musicians or favorite artists that you like to collect on vinyl?
Oh my goodness. I have so many favorites, and it changes on the day. Recently, because Big Sky has been such a intense and traumatic story to tell, and really the main emotions that are played are very like dark and heavy emotions. I have to sort of listen to things that are either really soothing or really fun. So, I've been listening to a lot of Stevie Wonder recently, because you can't not dance to Stevie
Exactly.
Wonder.
Who doesn't want to listen to Stevie Wonder?
Exactly. But I also love Clairo, and I love Moses Sumney. I love Tame Impala. That whole world is like, it's a great track to just like listen to music to, or not listen to music, to cook dinner to, and like listen to
One of my
music.
favorite bands. I love Borns, but they're like they have issues now, but Borns is like my recommendation.
Oh, horns. I love Past Lives and Electric Love.
Same. Like Holy Ghost is like my favorite song.
So good.
But what, I know it's kind of weird to ask when you're in the middle of Big Sky premiering right now, but what is kind of on your horizon for 2021, as we thankfully are exiting 2020?
Yeah, I really want the world to heal a little bit more. I feel a lot of hope right now, and I think a lot of people feel more hope within these past couple weeks. I think things are changing. I think we're on the road to a brighter future and a brighter 2021. So I want the world to heal a little bit. I want us to be unified as a group, and all of that, as far as like a worldly wish. But I'm also embarking on my 20s, and I think that's a really interesting time, and creatively is like a really great time to make things. And so I have exciting projects coming up that'll be made in 2021 that I'm really, really excited about. And I wish I could say more, but I can't. But yeah, I just want to create more things and tell more stories, and I want the world to heal. And yeah, I think this is going to be, I'm hoping that a renaissance sparks from this crazy era of 2020. I hope that more people start making things and making art in any sense of the word. And I feel like that's going to happen.
I hope so too, and I think so too. But thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today, and congrats again. And I can't wait to see what you have in the works too going forward.
Thank you. It's so nice talking with you.
Of course, it was great talking to you.